There are places on this planet so unexpected, so surreal, they seem torn from the pages of a fable. Places the modern world denies could ever truly exist. And yet, deep within the heart of China, beyond the crowded cities and ancient temples, lies a kingdom built not for emperors or warriors, but for those the world has long cast aside. A realm of tiny houses, miniature castles, and streets, scaled to suit those who have lived their lives in the towering shadows of others. A place where difference became identity, and exclusion gave birth to community. But behind the costumes, the staged battles, and the curious stares of outsiders, an unspoken question lingers. Is this a sanctuary or a spectacle, a refuge or a cage? The Kingdom of Dwarfs is situated on the outskirts of Kunming, the capital city of Yunnan province, a region famed for its diverse ethnic minorities, temperate climate, and dramatic landscapes. The surrounding countryside is home to mist-shrouded mountains, ancient Buddhist temples, and traditional villages where centuries-old customs endure. For visitors seeking to extend their journey, nearby attractions include the Stone Forest, a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its towering limestone formations, and Dianchi Lake, often called the Sparkling Pearl, embedded in a highland. Accommodations in Kunming range from modest hostels to luxury hotels, with prices starting at around 150 RMB, or about $21 per night. The city's cuisine is another draw, with specialties such as crossing the bridge noodles, a Yunnanese dish featuring rice noodles served in a steaming, aromatic broth, accompanied by platters of fresh meats, herbs, and vegetables. Photography enthusiasts, find ample material within the park, where brightly colored costumes, medieval-style turrets, and elaborately staged performances create a dreamlike tableau. Morning rehearsals, when the soft light casts a gentle glow on the performers and their surroundings, offer particularly compelling opportunities for candid atmospheric shots. The kingdom's creation and existence also mirror a long-standing human fascination with societies of the small. From ancient myths of tiny peoples to literary inventions like Swift's Lilliputians, miniature worlds have occupied a peculiar space in the collective imagination. They have served as metaphors for power dynamics, social order, and the nature of spectacle itself. In this modern incarnation, the performers of the Kingdom of Dwarfs navigate these narratives, simultaneously embodying and subverting them. For some, the park is a platform for professional growth, an escape from societal marginalization, and a chance to build a new identity outside traditional expectations. For others, it is a space of complex contradictions where empowerment and commodification exist in uneasy proximity. Despite the controversies, the kingdom persists, its continued existence a testament to the intricacies of human societies, the multiplicity of viewpoints, and the ongoing struggle to define dignity, opportunity, and entertainment in an increasingly interconnected world. Visitors leave with photographs and souvenirs, their experiences filtered through a lens of novelty and curiosity. Yet for those who inhabit Lilith, each day offers something more enduring. A shared story, a community forged through circumstance, and an ever-evolving pursuit of happiness within the walls of their kingdom. As evening falls, the lights of the amusement park shimmer against the darkening sky, illuminating cobbled streets and miniature castles. The performers retreat to their quarters, rehearsals concluded, costumes hung neatly away, and so we return to one of the most curious places on Earth. A playground unlike any other, where fairy tales spring to life in the hands of those society too often overlooks. Here, in the Kingdom of Dwarves, the performances may be the main attraction, but the true heart of this enclave beats quietly behind the stage curtains, within the dressing rooms and communal spaces where stories far more poignant than any fable are lived. After the final show of the day, a hush settles over the park. Costumed performers retreat to their quarters, slipping out of regal uniforms and stage makeup. In these private moments, away from the expectant gaze of tourists, the performers reveal not characters but themselves, a community woven together by shared experience and the remarkable resilience of the human spirit. Among them are the young and the hopeful, newcomers who arrived here burdened by the quiet isolation of small-town life. In many of the rural villages scattered across China's vast provinces, individuals affected by dwarfism often grow up in near-total solitude, believing themselves to be alone in their condition. But here, in this tiny kingdom, that solitude is replaced by solidarity. For many, the day of arrival is unforgettable. There's a moment, often wordless, when a new resident first looks around and realizes they are no longer the exception, no longer a curiosity or outlier, but one among many. It is for some a moment of shock, for others a quiet, overwhelming sense of relief. Loneliness is a heavy burden to carry, and in this place, for the first time, it is lifted. In candid conversations beyond the spotlight, stories surface of young men and women who once felt invisible in their hometowns. Many speak of growing up surrounded by stares, whispers, and the constant reminder of their difference. In traditional Chinese society, where collective conformity is deeply prized, standing out, especially for a physical trait, can be an isolating, often painful experience. But within Lilith, as the residents call it, that narrative is rewritten. One performer, affectionately known as Little Apple, a nickname earned for her round, bright face, describes this world as a kind of paradise. Not because it's free from hardship or uncertainty, but because it offers something far rarer: acceptance. Here, friendships form easily. Residents from all corners of China arrive, bringing with them stories from remote mountain villages, bustling coastal towns, and ancient cities. The park becomes a melting pot of dialects, customs, and backgrounds united by shared stature and shared purpose. For centuries, people with dwarfism have faced immense social barriers, from limited employment opportunities to the constant sting of public ridicule. In many parts of the world, prejudice follows them like a persistent shadow. It shapes lives in ways the average person seldom contemplates: jobs that never come, stares that never cease, and a sense of otherness that rarely fades. In the early 21st century, a bold, controversial idea took shape in China. A community was constructed where little people could work, perform, and live together, free from the daily discrimination they experienced in the outside world. That place was called the Kingdom of the Dwarfs. Within its gates, life takes on a different rhythm. Here, over 100 residents share homes built to their scale, streets lined with pastel-colored cottages and whimsical architecture designed to resemble a storybook kingdom. The small houses, low-hanging street lamps, and miniature market stalls create a sense of belonging seldom found elsewhere. It is a world crafted to celebrate what makes these people unique, while shielding them from the harsher judgments of society beyond. For many, the journey to this unusual place began with rejection. Jobs turned down because of stature, friendships strained by misunderstanding, and futures narrowed by bias. In China's vast urban centers, where millions compete for opportunity, those born with dwarfism often find themselves pushed to the fringes. But in the age of the internet, word of this tiny kingdom spread. A place where discrimination supposedly did not exist, and where others who shared the same experience lived together in solidarity. The arrival at the kingdom marks a profound turning point for newcomers. It is here that, for the first time in their lives, many see others who look like them, share their struggles, and carry the same burdens. The alienation of standing out vanishes, replaced by a sense of kinship. In the eyes of their new neighbors, there is no pity, only understanding. Within the kingdom's walls, daily life unfolds with an air of simplicity and joy. Residents, workers, performers, artisans, and caretakers of the land. An amusement park surrounds the community, where costumed shows bring ancient Chinese legends to life. Towering boars are ridden like stallions, miniature ponies parade through cobbled streets, and historic reenactments transport visitors to distant dynasties. The performers, dressed in elaborate silks and warriors' armor, evoke both awe and unease in the crowds that gather. Each performance is designed to delight, to amuse, and to leave a lasting impression. Laughter echoes across the courtyards, though its meaning is often ambiguous. Are the visitors laughing with the performers, or at them? The line remains difficult to discern. The Kingdom of the Dwarfs has long existed in this uneasy space, between empowerment and spectacle, pride and exploitation. Beyond the performances, there's a palpable sense of unity among the residents. They have forged a family where none existed before. Lives once marked by isolation have become interwoven in a community where birthdays are celebrated together, meals are shared around long tables, and grievances are aired without fear of derision. Yet the outside world still casts a long shadow. Venturing beyond the kingdom's gates means returning to a society that often views them through a lens of curiosity or cruelty. In bustling city markets and crowded train stations, children stare and whisper, while adults either avert their gaze or gawk openly. The residents have learned to steel themselves against these encounters. For them, the value of their lives is no longer determined by the unkindness of strangers. The Kingdom of the Dwarfs, controversial since its inception, remains a subject of intense debate. Critics have accused it of turning human difference into a sideshow attraction, while supporters argue that it offers dignity, employment, and safety to a marginalized group. Its existence raises uncomfortable questions about where the boundaries of entertainment, agency and exploitation truly lie. Yet amidst these controversies, one truth stands firm. For those who call this miniature city home, it is a refuge, a place where the weight of prejudice lifts, if only for a while, and where identity is no longer a burden but a badge of resilience. Life within the kingdom is not without hardship, but it carries with it a certain defiant joy. Here people live with determination. They love, laugh and argue like anyone else. They ride boars, wear silk robes and relive history, not as victims of fate, but as masters of their own stage. In a world that is, well, often unkind to those who differ from the norm, this is their sanctuary. A kingdom carved from necessity, bound by solidarity and built on the stubborn, unyielding spirit of those society long tried to forget. In the heart of Yunnan province, the Kingdom of the Dwarfs draws visitors from all across China and even beyond. An unusual theme park where little people perform, live and work within a surreal miniature world. Beneath the towering peaks and dense tea fields, this enclave serves as both amusement and refuge, a complex symbol of resilience, entertainment, and, human curiosity. Families arrive, children in tow, with wide eyes and, honestly, a restless excitement. For many, it's their very first encounter with individuals of shorter stature. In a society where dwarfism has long been misunderstood and marginalized, this park provides not only a spectacle but also an unspoken lesson in difference. Parents, caught somewhere between fascination and responsibility, explain as best they can. These are not children at play, but adults who, despite their height, live full, mature and intelligent lives. It is a difficult conversation, shaped by centuries of superstition and, modern prejudice. The world within the park is one meticulously crafted to seem, otherworldly. Tiny pastel cottages with rounded windows and mushroom-shaped roofs evoke the imagery of childhood storybooks. Smurf houses by design, really, a fantasy realm brought to life. Here, reality and illusion intertwined. Visitors stroll through cobbled streets sized for smaller frames, passing lampposts no higher than a child's shoulder and gates built to waist height. Every structure is a reminder that this is their world, their kingdom, conceived not as a reflection of the outside world, but as an escape from it. Many recount the mental and emotional transformations sparked by life in this community. Where once there was depression, now there is confidence. Where once there was silence, now there's laughter. The simple act of belonging, of walking among others who understand the subtleties of this particular experience, reshapes lives in ways that no tourist may ever fully see. One particularly striking perspective shared by several residents speaks to a deeper cultural observation. In China's increasingly competitive society, young people are often weighed down by immense expectations to excel academically, secure prestigious careers, marry young, and accumulate wealth. The unrelenting pressure to meet these milestones can suffocate even the most resilient spirits. Yet for the performers here, life follows a different cadence. Freed from certain societal expectations, they describe a life less burdened by status, possessions, and relentless comparison. It's a curious irony. In a world built as a spectacle for outsiders, those within sometimes feel freer than many beyond its gates. Among the park's most seasoned residents are figures like Wang, a gentle, affable man who has called Lilith home for more than 13 years. His is a story not just of finding acceptance, but of finding love in a place where, honestly, few would expect it. In 2012, fate introduced him to May, a fellow performer with a quiet grace and sharp wit. What began as a tentative friendship soon deepened, and by 2015 the two were married. A union forged not in defiance of their surroundings, but nurtured within them. Their story is emblematic of countless quiet romances and deep friendships that weave through the kingdom. For many, life here offers not just steady work and a roof overhead, but something infinitely more precious, the chance to be seen, understood and loved, wholly and without condition. As twilight descends on the park, the air fills with the soft rustle of costumes being packed away and the hum of conversations in regional dialects. Outside, the cobbled streets glow under delicate string lights, and in the distance, the echoes of the day's final performance linger. Within the walls of Lilith, tomorrow's stories are already being written. Stories of those who, once felt small in a vast, indifferent world, and who now, within this tiny kingdom, have found a world that feels, at last, their own. But beyond the painted facades and whimsical designs lies a far more profound narrative. The performers and residents of this kingdom have built lives here, forging a society amidst structures once dismissed as novelty. Inside these walls, they are not curiosities, but sovereigns of their own destiny. At the heart of this community stands a figure of quiet dignity, the so-called King of the Dwarfs. One of the earliest residents, he was the first to set foot in this miniature sanctuary. For him, as for many others, life before this place was marked by rejection. Too small for most conventional jobs, constantly stared at in public and denied opportunities by an unyielding society. Life outside was an endless battle against prejudice. But within these gates, everything changed. The streets, the stages, even the dormitories were built for them. Here, for the first time, difference did not equate to disadvantage. The park offered more than employment. It offered dignity, a salary, and a sense of belonging. Many who arrived, burdened by sorrow and insecurity, found in this whimsical world the strength to reclaim their self-worth. The kingdom became not just a place of performance, but of personal triumph. As performances paused for brief interludes, the daily rhythms of life carried on. Behind the scenes, the park housed communal dormitories where the artists and workers lived side by side. Modest rooms clustered around shared courtyards, their simplicity a sharp contrast to the theatrical fantasy of the performance grounds. Here, friendships deepened, romances bloomed, and daily routines unfolded much like in any other village. Each resident's room, told a personal story. There were photographs of family members long left behind, mementos from early performances, and modest furnishings that offered glimpses into lives shaped by hardship and resilience. For many, these dormitories symbolized more than just shelter. They represented the freedom to exist without constant judgment, a place where laughter came easily and shared burdens were made lighter in the company of those who truly understood. Within the larger debate surrounding the Kingdom of the Dwarfs, whether it empowers or exploits, one constant really remains the unyielding spirit of its residents. They possess a fierce pride not rooted in the artificiality of their surroundings, but in the strength required to build lives in the face of adversity. The king, their symbolic leader, once remarked that their stature should not command attention, but rather the greatness of their spirit. And indeed, in a world that far too often measures people by appearance, these individuals have cultivated an inner resilience that's far more powerful than any outward form. The daily performances, well, they continue to draw crowds eager to witness this unique blend of ancient Chinese myths and modern spectacle. From historic battles to fantastical creature rides, each show stands as a testament to both cultural tradition and personal defiance. Visitors laugh, applaud, and marvel, though whether in admiration or perhaps morbid fascination remains a question without an easy answer. Beyond the stages and along the quiet paths of their dormitory quarters, the residents' lives unfold in unremarkable, beautiful simplicity. Meals are shared in communal dining halls where lively debates and jokes fill the air. Friendships, some forged in childhood, others newly formed, provide comfort and companionship. Love stories begin with shy glances across courtyards and mature into enduring partnerships. It is here in these unnoticed corners that the true heart of the kingdom beats. This miniature city born of controversy and curiosity remains an enigmatic fixture in modern China. It is both sanctuary and spectacle, a place where the marginalized found autonomy amidst artifice. And while outsiders continue to debate the morality of such a place, those who live within it hold firm to a simple, unshakable truth, that they have forged a life of dignity, solidarity, and joy, in defiance of a world that too often refused them both. In the quiet corners of the Kingdom of the Dwarves, beyond the colourful stages and curious crowds, small homes line the narrow streets. Among these, one modest dwelling holds profound meaning for two of its residents. A simple house, scaled to their stature, yet vast in the promises it carries. Within these walls, a sanctuary has been built, not of brick and timber alone, but of mutual trust, resilience, and an unspoken vow to face life's uncertainties together. For those who have lived much of their lives on the periphery of society, where glances linger too long and opportunities are scarce, such a home signifies far more than shelter. It represents security in a world where certainty has rarely been afforded to them. In this miniature house, the daily rituals of ordinary life become acts of quiet defiance against a world too large and often too indifferent. Preparing a meal, sharing stories of the day, exchanging playful teasing and offering comfort in illness. These moments, easily overlooked by others, form the foundation of their happiness. The kingdom, though built as an attraction, has inadvertently become a stage for resilience where residents carve out lives rich in companionship and purpose. Here, dreams once considered unattainable have taken root. For many, the notion of marriage, of starting a family, was an idea forever out of reach, a consequence of both social stigma and practical limitations. Yet within these walls, such dreams not only exist, but flourish. There is a deep awareness among the residents of the unique challenges they face. The prospect of parenthood, while yearned for by some, carries with it a heavy burden. The high probability of passing on their condition weighs upon hopeful couples. More than the genetics, it is the knowledge of a world still unkind to difference that shapes their choices. The outside world, with its towering doorways, oversized furniture, and often unthinking cruelty, remains a daunting place. Few wish to see their children navigate a life of constant adaptation and prejudice. Yet, even in the absence of children, many couples discover completeness in one another. They build lives tailored not to society's expectations, but to their own definition of joy. The secret to their contentment is not found in material wealth or social status, but in the quiet certainties of daily life. Within this community, happiness is redefined. It is neither loud nor ostentatious, but lives in the modesty of mutual support, the comfort of familiar faces, and the satisfaction of small victories earned through perseverance. This kingdom, with its fantastical facades and theatrical performances, also houses a profound truth. That joy, when stripped of complication and expectation, exists in the way two people choose to share a life. The park's scaled-down houses and toy-like streets belie the strength of spirit found within its borders. Here, those once marginalized by society have built a microcosm of belonging. For those who visit, the initial impulse is often one of curiosity, sometimes discomfort. But for those who live here, it is a triumph. Life in the wider world remains marked by obstacles, doors too high to reach, chairs too tall to climb into, and glances heavy with unspoken judgment. It is easy to lose heart when every object and every gaze seems to declare that one does not belong. Yet, the people of this kingdom have discovered a means not only to endure, but to thrive. Their secret lies in perspective, in viewing life not as a series of limitations, but as a canvas upon which to paint resilience, joy, and meaning. Every smile exchanged, every small home built, every hand held in quiet reassurance becomes a testament to human defiance in the face of adversity. In a world often preoccupied with perfection, these residents remind us that happiness is less about the absence of struggle and more about how one chooses to meet it. This tiny kingdom, born from curiosity and controversy, has transformed into a living lesson on the dignity of difference. In a world built for taller shadows, it is easy to overlook those who walk a different path. Yet within these miniature streets and tiny homes, among performers dressed as emperors and fairy tale kings, lies a truth far greater than the tallest mountain. It is here, in the hearts of those long dismissed, that one finds the fiercest resilience, the purest joy, and the clearest reminder that the measure of a life is not taken in inches or in titles, but in courage, in kindness, and in the quiet defiance of those who choose happiness in the face of a world that so often denies it. And perhaps as the sun sets over this unlikely kingdom, the greatest story isn't the one told by its stages, but the one written in the everyday acts of love, of hope, and of choosing to be seen, not for what the world calls a limitation, but for the unbreakable spirit that rises above it. Because here in the Kingdom of Dwarfs, they have built more than a home. They have built a reminder to us all that true greatness was never about size, it was always about heart. Thanks for traveling with us. Wherever you are in the world, remember, home isn't just a place, it's a perspective. We'll see you in the next story, only here on Beyond Borders. Hit subscribe, share the journey, and stay curious.